Education meeting on Tuesday, June 14th, 2016. This is a regular meeting at 7:09. Roll call, please.
Fargo.
Here.
Sisevich. Here. Dunkelman. Here. Manson.
Here.
Stahl.
Here.
Would you join me in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. There is time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Approval of minutes. Resolved that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the minutes of the special meeting of May 2nd, 2016, the special and regular meetings of May 10th, 2016, and the special meeting of May 31st, 2016. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Sisevich.
Yes.
Manson.
Yes.
Dunkelman.
Yes.
Stahl.
Yes.
Fargo.
Yes. Recommendation statements. Following recommendations have been identified for approval as part of the consent agenda for this meeting. The board member wishes to review any items on this agenda for further discussion prior to taking action. Please let the superintendent or the board president know. And approval of the consent agenda. Resolved that the Buckeye Board of Education approve the consent agenda of June 14, 2016 as presented with some changes.
We have a couple changes. We're going to have two votes on the supplementals. We're going to have one that is going to start with Baldwin and Paul and end with Vicki Ludwig Safety Town for 1516 of $1,000. And the second vote will start with Mark Pinzoni and go to Jeff Schneidler.
Okay.
I can't pronounce it. Schindler. Schneidler. Schneidler.
Okay. Any other changes? Then I'll entertain a motion to accept the consent agenda.
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Stahl.
Yes.
Dunkelman.
Yes.
Manson.
Yes.
Sisevich.
Yes.
Fargo.
Yes. Okay, now the good part of the meeting, superintendent special guest.
Thank you. Ms. Hosak, we'll have you first. I want to welcome and introduce you to Ms. Carolyn Hosak, one of our science teachers at the junior high. She was gracious enough to lead one of our Rube Goldberg teams this year, and they had quite a bit of success. So I'm very grateful for you to come here and tell us a little bit about that today.
Thank you so much. And we have some kids who are with us today. We have 25 members of the Rube Goldberg team who joined us. More applied to get into it, but this is the number that we could take. And we have some that are here today. Would you all come forward, please, so we can recognize you and we'll talk about your accomplishments, because we're certainly very proud of you. These are a couple of the 25. Fantastic. And if you all wouldn't mind telling everybody your name and the grade that you're going to be going into in the fall.
Hi, I'm Kaylee Flip. I'm going into 9th grade.
I'm Julie Conrad, and I'm going into 9th grade.
I'm Tony Keys, going into 8th grade.
I'm Catherine Coons, going into 8th grade.
Jennifer Brown, going into 8th grade.
Tyler Rack, going into 9th grade. Peyton Rostock, going into 9th grade.
All of these students started in January working on 2 of our Rube Goldberg teams. This was a competition sponsored by Goodyear to promote engineering and science, and these guys took on the challenge and met every week and often and ended up engineering a Rube Goldberg machine, which had to tag Goodyear on a piece of paper through 12 different steps. And of course, they learned a lot about engineering in that you couldn't hope that it worked, you had to make sure that it worked. And for them, it did work. We ended up taking home 2nd and 5th place for both of our teams. Both of our teams placed. And the good news is that these guys won $3,000 for our district to be used for science and technology. So we are very, very proud of our students' accomplishments, and thank you so much for recognizing them. I'm excited about all of your futures, especially your determination as we got to the final hour to make our Rube Goldberg machine work. These are determined bunch of people. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
And I
very
believe,
much.
just so that you all know, we don't have to stay forever, so just
Yes.
What is the Rube Goldberg machine?
A Rube Goldberg machine is based after that comic. There was a comic strip called the Rube Goldberg, and if you see them in the old times, they have 15 steps for him to pour a cup of coffee for himself. This was an engineering problem for them to be able to tag Rube Goldberg onto a piece of, or a Goodyear onto a piece of paper using 12 steps that had to include magnets, electricity, pendulums, simple machines, all sorts of different things to make them go through. Thank you for asking. So you did an excellent job. Any other questions for our illustrious group of students? Okay, we're very, very proud of them.
Thank you very much.
everybody.
Thank you so much. Thank you for
The
being
video
here.
will be up on We Are Buckeye soon,
Okay.
instead of here,
Okay.
because of technical
Do you want to say
difficulties.
anything?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. And we do want to thank Ms. Hosak for her time and giving up her time to work with our kids beyond the classroom. Thank you so much for that. And as Ms. Hosak said, it may be a long meeting, so if you guys would like to stay, you're more than welcome to, but also don't feel like you need to stay for the whole meeting. So.
No offense, no offense. Thank you. Have a good summer.
Now I got it.
Next on our agenda, Mr. Tudor, a question was asked, and we're having some changes to our high school schedule, very slight changes, but changes nonetheless. And we've asked Mr. Tudor to come this evening to talk a little bit about those changes. And he's out in the hall, but we'll get him in here.
There he is.
Mr. Tudor, where do you?
All right. Half the people laugh, but that's okay.
And nothing to do
Yeah,
with you.
certainly we're going to be fresh. Exactly. All right, I know. All right, so wanted to take a couple minutes to share two different things. Really, my specific purpose is to explain a change in our bell schedule for next year. But anytime I have the floor, I probably go ahead and say a couple things about what we're doing at the high school because it's been an exciting year for us. So this year, and I can't take any credit for it, or no one. I mean, we were not a part of the building yet, but from last year's data, we received a bronze medal by the U.S. News and World Report, which is a nice honor because it really talks about kind of the two things, which is college readiness and college preparedness and career readiness. And so it really looks at things like how we perform in our compared to others in our state, how disadvantaged students perform, our graduation rates, and our AP enrollment and exam scores. So pretty good things to be judged on, as I think that's really what makes us impactful as a high school. So hopefully, I'm hoping from this year's results, and then in the future we'll continue to move up. Maybe to a silver, or even if a top 500 school is a gold medal school, as there are a few of those in this area, Hudson, Aurora, those are some schools, and I believe we could get there, I really do. So that's kind of where we were this year. So to kind of say one thing that we're pretty excited about, so I want to just share about 2 minutes about some kind of how we're trying to really address our advanced students and how we're trying to address our at-risk students. So in terms of our advanced population, for this year that we just had, we had 40 total enrollments in advanced placement, okay? And we had 0 in dual enrollment CCP, which is College Credit Plus, right? And we had lots of kids in College Credit Plus, but none of them through Buckeye. They were either through the University of Akron and the Distance Learning Lab, or they were off campus at Tri-C, Lorraine, Akron, Kent. They could be anywhere. Due to
changes that our staff made, which I commend our staff a ton. They worked really hard this year to think about how we can stay as relevant as possible to our high school students, make them want to be a part of Buckeye as much as they can, and challenge them. And then also give a lot of credit to Dr. Collins, Paul Garish. I mean, we really did a lot this year, to the point where next year we have 180 total enrollments in AP. And we have 352 kids in CCP next year. And not CCP where they're taking it another place where they don't get to enjoy Buckeye, where they're not a part of the high school, where they're not using our teachers, but 352 enrollments with our teachers at our campus, where we can ensure high quality curriculum is taught, and at the same time give them those college credits that it's, you know, pretty tough for them to want to say no to when they're in high school. So we're really excited about that. Obviously, we'll have to tweak it as we continue and see how we do. But I'm thinking that this is really going to continue to help us grow as a district, and as a high school, continue to become, I think, one of the top high schools in Ohio, honestly. So next slide. At the same time, we are continuing. You know, the one thing I never would want, you know, is I talk a lot about our achievement and wanting our kids to really try to achieve at their highest level. Never want us to ignore, or for anyone to think that we're not also trying to address our at-risk student population, which is in every school and is in our school, and it's so important that we get those kids to reach their highest potential, to graduate high school, to be prepared for their next step. And so we continue to do that with the OIP process. We've done a lot of co-teaching professional development. We're continuing that. And also next year, we're really excited at the high school. We have a new program that really specifically, I mean, if you read what this program is, it is to help at-risk students. And that is the career-based intervention, or CBI program. Used to be called OWE in its original form. It's changed a little bit, but the concept is pretty similar, where we get to identify at-risk kids, and they just have to be at risk in an area. It could be because of behavior, it could be because of finances, it could be because of credits, it could be because of attendance. I mean, it does not have to be any one thing, it can be anything that makes them what we would consider that they could use some additional support. And we then teach them how to acquire employment, keep employment. We give them credits for that. They work on their core classes. We connect with area businesses. We've got a couple really strong connections going right now with Sandridge Foods and the Transitional Living Centers to try to give them job opportunities, so that when they do, we're not only, one, we can help them graduate, but then once they graduate, there are jobs right here in this area that they can get. So pretty excited about that too. And Dave Parrish, who some of you may know, Dave Parrish actually has been hired to be the CBI teacher. He has that license and taught social studies in our district for a long time, and also was with the Buckeye years ago. And so he's very passionate about that. Okay, so now what I'm supposed to talk about tonight, which is we did change our bell schedule for next year a little bit. Here's the summary of what we did. We cut our classes from 48 minutes to 45 minutes, okay, so 3 minutes, in order to gain about 27 minutes at the end of the day that we are able to use for intervention, okay? It's pretty similar to what the middle school does in terms of the concept of scheduling. It actually puts us right in line with the middle school set schedule, which is pretty helpful from a sharing teacher responsibility, as we do have some teachers that do that. But really our whole purpose is, you know, we wanted to create a time where we could have some flexibility, where we could do some things that I feel like could really make us better. And at the high school, you get so busy and there's so many interruptions, it becomes so difficult to do that without kind of trying to create a structure. So that's the concept of what it is. You go to the next slide, Carolyn. Really, here's the reason why we decided to do it. You know, we started it by trying to gain some perspective from staff, because this would be a change for them, not only in terms of the shortened class period, but also what would this mean for them at the end of the day. And over 90%, based on our surveys, I did an anonymous Google survey, supported our plan, and we're very excited about it. the two main things that I really want to focus on in terms of what we're doing is the first is creating the start of professional learning communities, or PLCs, which I could go on for a long time about, but it's at the high school level, it would look similar to a department meeting in your own department, but instead of having to talk about, okay, next Friday we've got this band, so we've got pep assembly on this day, you are totally just talking about instruction and academics and assessment, and it really allows you to improve the two things that you want to improve, which is instruction, collaboration. And it's so difficult if you don't create that time, especially with restraints of contract and things like that, to create that. So what this does is 2 times a week, every department is able to meet with their department during that 27 minutes. And they will have specific goals that they have to do. Like, for example, we're going to work on common assessments. Another thing we're really going to focus on is we're going to try to determine what is an actual grade supposed to represent. Questions that need to be discussed and probably create some pretty good discussion that is tough to do if you meet once a month for 15 minutes. And so we're really excited about that. And at the same time, and how it's able to do that is all the kids are assigned an area. They all are assigned an actual class, but the teachers are assigned 2 teachers to 1 classroom. So certain days, one teacher is able to be out for the meetings, and at the same time, the other days, the others are. It is not a planning period. They have to be in a certain area with their department working on specific tasks that, as a group, we've decided to do. So that's kind of how the staff part of it is. And then from a student standpoint, they receive the additional support that they desperately need. They're able to go make up lists and tasks. They're able to go to a class that they need help on. A teacher also, we put in the handbook, if let's say that Johnny is doing poorly in math, the math teacher can say, I need him in my room during the Buckeye period, and then they have to go during that, so we communicate that from the staff. So it provides intervention for the students as well, which they desperately need. So that's really our big 2 things, and also we'll get rid of activity periods, which is probably the staff love more than anything. As we activity periods anytime we have to interrupt the school day for something, which happens all the time, and so we've got all these different bell schedules and things like that. We're not going to do that. We're going to do that during the Buckeye time. So my view is, even though we cut it by 3 minutes, in the long run, I truly believe we probably actually are getting more instruction, and I guarantee we're getting more high quality instruction because of it. So that is really kind of the concept of what we're doing next year. I think it'll go well. Of course, there's going to be some work we'll have to figure out. The kids are going to have to figure out exactly what this is for them. And we're pretty excited about it.
Does it, from the student's perspective, if the student's struggling, they can get some extra help? So what if the student is just the ordinary Joe? Then what happens to that student?
So they are assigned to that area, or to that teacher. And they are assigned specifically, we intentionally assign them to teachers that they have for class. So you're not going to go to Mr. Lutman's class if you don't have Mr. Lutman. You're going to go to, so we specifically, we try to do it by priority. So our AP kids are with their AP teachers. Our CCP kids are with their CCP teachers. Our special ed students are in an inclusion class or with their special ed teacher. So we try, so there's still some, because the teacher, it's a study home, but at the same time the teacher has rights and authorities, like, hey, you can do this for me, you haven't done this. So for a good student, it could be a study hall occasion. But it also be time when project care needs, it'll be when holidays, it'll be when all of those things that cause interruptions to the academic day, they'll be able, which is really hard for some of our best kids because they get pulled away so much. In that 9th period especially, I get complaints from teachers like, they haven't been here in 6 days. They're some of our best kids, they want to be there. They've got this, and this going on. So that's kind of what we're hoping to do. Thanks, Dave,
On your college credit bus, you had 300 some?
Yes.
That's not 300 some students.
No, that's enrollments. So that's seats. We probably have about 130 or 40 kids that are taking it. That's total seats that we have.
Thank you very much. I know they've done a lot of work. I want to thank Mr. Tudor and the staff at the high school for all their work on that. I do think it'll be great for kids, and you mentioned the opportunities for intervention for kids, but the other end of that also is the enrichment. As you mentioned, the AP kids, that IE idea of intervention and enrichment is something that we're, I think, very excited about with that schedule. As you mentioned, there are all kinds of interruptions. There are pep rallies. Is that something that can be done at the end of the day now? So there are any myriad of those types of interruptions can be done at the end of the day. So as you said, one pep assembly could be 40 minutes out of class, and now you create a schedule where they may be out of class, or they lose in 3 minutes, but just one day makes up for 12 days of that. So anyway, thank you so much. Next, I'd like to bring up Dr. Collins. Thank you so much for being here. We have worked very hard. I want to thank our administrative team as well as our teaching staff. Under the leadership of Dr. Collins, we have created a 5-year curriculum plan. She has done a wonderful job leading this and leading our group through our Ohio improvement process that we have been engaged in this year. We have involved our teaching staff in these shared decision making. So I invited her this evening to talk a little bit about that. Thank you for being here.
It's great to go after Gabe too, because the tremendous work that's happening at the high school is in all of the buildings this year. There have just been an explosion of things happening throughout the district that is really terrific. So if you would go to the next slide. We have several different influences working on the district right now, specifically for academics and instruction. The first is the strategic plan that was created last year that takes us through 2020. And that lists various goals within different areas, such as facilities and finances, but also academic achievement. The 5-year tech plan was presented in March, and it's kind of how are we going to get to the point of being 2-to-1 in grades 4 through 6 and 1-to-1 in grades 7 through 12, and also having parts and devices down to the primary. And then finally, district leadership team, just a quick background on that. That is part of the Ohio improvement process that Buckeye voluntarily takes part in. So some districts are required to do the Ohio improvement process, but we went into it on our own. And one of the best accomplishments, I think, of that team this year is the structure of having a district leadership team that has about 4 to 5 representatives from every building in the district. So each building, the primary, intermediate, junior high, and high school, has its own building leadership team made up of 7 to 8 people in the building. And from that building leadership team, we have the district leadership team. And that district leadership team works specifically on academic goals. So we went from our first meeting at the beginning of the year where we all kind of met and talked about what are we doing here? What is a district leadership team? What are we supposed to be working on? To, at the end of the year, having very specific strategies that we wanted to work on to accomplish a specific goal. So if you go to the next slide, I kind of summarize what each of these does, the influences from each of these. So primarily in the strategic plan, the major academic goals focused on student growth, having a comprehensive and relevant programming, technology, gifted opportunities, and offering global education, a diverse curriculum. Our tech plan again focuses on the 2-to-1 and the 1-to-1 with embedded Google Apps for education. So parents that are here, you should, if you're not already, you should be seeing your kids coming home doing lots of stuff with Google. Lots of free apps are happening. Kids are in Google Drive. We're in Google Drive. If you see it up there, we've got Google Docs and slides going on at our own board meeting. So we've made tremendous strides just in using Google this year. And then finally, the DLT's overarching 5-year goal is to improve achievement for all students by addressing the continuum of services under the direction of Nancy Nemo, our special ed director, and Chris Rutledge, our gifted coordinator, and working on providing effective feedback. So those are all of that is the focus for the district for the next 5 years. You can go to the next slide. What I kind of wanted to talk about here was, this is year 1, and what have we done? This is kind of a baseline year. This is my first year in the district, so kind of taking a pulse on what is going on. Again, with DLT, where are we going as a district? So we started to assess the continuum of services. What do we offer for students with disabilities? What do we offer for gifted students across the district? And we've already started making strides in that area. We've got some gifted programming going on as of the second half of this year down at the primary that we didn't even have at the beginning of the year. It's just we're moving along with that. We also did district surveys of the staff to find out what the staff thought we needed to be doing. And we started to focus on improving communication even more throughout the district. So the best part of this DLT is we've got K-12 teachers, all of them meeting together. I think we had 3 times this year. All of these teachers meeting together and taking back the same messages to their BLTs. So throughout the district, we've got this communication that's happening. You can go to the next one. Moving into next year, we're going to continue with this needs assessment. How, why, and what we teach. That's part of the conversation that we need to continue. We need to look at our curriculum maps, what's being taught in all the grades. We need to look at adoption cycles. I'd like to, and we've talked with the administrative team about beginning with K-8 science because we recently did high school science, so we want to just finish all that out and get us on the next cycle. Continue to improve communication, you'll see on all of these slides. It's always we've got to be ongoing with that. Tech team, we're going to be working on Google. We're going to be Google, it's going to be saturated. People are going to be sick of hearing Google by the end of next year. No more Google is what I'm aiming for. DLT, we're going to continue to gather data on our goals and figure out where we are and what we need to keep doing to improve. The next year, we would be looking at math, probably about that time. Again, with the communications. What we really want to do with technology, where all of this starts to come together, is we want to look more at free online resources and using technology to supplement the excellent instruction that we have going on and the amazing teachers that we have in Buckeye. So all of that is going to start to come together over the next 5 years. If you can go to the next slide. Year 4, looking at English. And here, I'm not even sure what to say in technology because this is a couple years out, and 1 year ago, I didn't think that we would have what we have today. I think it was just 2012 that I was saying, there's no way I'm ever getting an iPad, and now I have my MacBook and my iPhone and an iPad, and everything's connected. So I don't know where we'll be with technology, but I know that we'll be continuing on working on blended learning and using online tools to support instruction so that every learner can learn at his or her own individual instructional level in the classroom. This slide was actually missing, and I noticed that just before I came in. So the following year, we would look at social studies and still continue with everything else that we have going on. So, any questions? Lots of stuff, lots of great stuff happening here. It's a great place to be, if only for all that progress that's going on. So.
And again, I want to thank Dr. Collins. There has just been amazing academic progress in this district, and I'll talk in a moment about one of the awards that we've received. But under Dr. Collins' leadership, Mr. Tudor, all of our administrators, Ms. Nimmo, Mr. Finley, everybody else, seeing anybody else, but under their leadership, Mr. Flood, thank you. And along with our teaching staff, it's just been amazing, an amazing academic year, and I think some of the recognition that we've received is a result of that hard work, and that is our goal, that is our focus, to provide the most outstanding academic instruction to our students that we can, and we're very fortunate to have the leaders that we do, doing what they do every day with our wonderful teaching staff to make that happen. So thank you very much, Dr. Collins, which will lead me into, if you don't mind, I'd like to just show. We did, and it's been out there, although I don't know that we've officially announced it, I think, as a district, but very proud of our district, and this is something we'll hang up, this is just a copy of the letter that we received from the State Board of Education. We're going to hang it. Very, very proud of the fact that our district was given a Momentum Award from the State Board of Education. This was given to the districts within the state that received all A's on the testing portion of the state report card. Only 55 districts out of 600 plus in the state received this award this year. So very proud of this. Thank our teaching staff and our administrators and our students and our families that made this possible for our district, but certainly a wonderful academic award and achievement for our district, which again, this is what we're all about. This is what we do. I'd also like to recognize and thank, and again, wonderful relationship that we have with our community. some of you may have read or saw, and we're going to present these at the township meetings, also to our sheriff's office as well as our highway patrol, to thank them for partnering with us. Mr. Garish and Mr. Tudor had a big role in bringing the mock crash to our school district in conjunction with our safety forces to show our students what the consequences of bad decisions can be. And the students involved in this were amazing. Our safety forces were amazing. So we're going to present this to all of our safety forces and thank them for doing that with us. And again, with community partnerships, and Ms. Luther's here, we are also going to present this to Sandridge Foods. So these are our students holding donated products from Sandridge Foods. We want to give this to them and thank them. They have been a wonderful partner, have donated so much to our district this year, and we look forward to a continued positive relationship with them. But we want to make sure we thank and recognize them for partnering with our district and providing so much to our district. So I think that's all we have under that area.
Well, that's quite a bit.
Thank you. Thank you for your patience.
All right, so ready for the treasurer's financial report?
The real exciting part.
This is the exciting part.
Okay. I'm asking the board to approve the amended certificate and appropriations that are on file in the treasurer's office, to approve the final appropriations and amended certificate that will be submitted to the county auditor as of June 30th. I will present them fully to the board in July. And also to approve temporary appropriations and amended certificate for July 1st, 2016. Again, that will be totally presented to the board in July.
Entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's recommendation. Motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. Discussing.
You will also have any transfers or advances to federal funds or to food service and athletics. I don't want to, food service looks very good at the end of the year. Don't want to speculate, so I'm not going to, but it looks very good. But I think it will be very favorable.
You want to say anything about monthly financials or anything like that? Nothing to find out? Anybody have any questions? Roll call.
Mrs. Selich?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Dunkelman?
Yes.
Shaw?
Yes.
Barto?
Yes. Financial Advisory Committee?
Yes, we met last Monday, I believe. Unfortunately, only one member could attend, Dave Cheney. We did discuss busing and had some information presented on busing and looking at the possibility of expanding our busing offerings. However, we'll be going back to get some more information, take a little bit of a deeper dive in that, and hopefully get some firmer numbers and some better numbers, and question the state on some of their requirements too, and exactly how we are, honoring what the state requirements are, whether we're doing it properly, or if there are ways to, work with the state to not have as many buses on the routes. I think one of the things that came out that was, which we knew, but again, it pretty much tells you what we're doing here is, we provide busing for all the students in the junior high, and I believe the number was 48% of the students are actually utilizing the busing. So if we could address our numbers to that, because we know it'll be lower in the high school, perhaps it wouldn't cost as much if we could use better numbers. The other thing that came out there, which we'll talk about after this as well, is we do have a member for Litchfield now. Conrad Hannenberg has accepted the position, and he brings a wealth of experience. He was most recently president of Fair Board for quite a number of years, and is looking forward to helping us on the financial advisory committee.
Okay. And we'll go into a resolution. Resolved that Buckeye Board of Education approved Conrad Hannenberg as a member of the Financial Advisory Committee representing Litchfield. Anyone like to make that motion?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Roll call.
You will give me all of this information so I can contact Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Councilman?
Yes.
Strong?
Yes.
Johnson?
No.
Mrs. Savage?
Yes.
Farquhar?
Yes. Public participation. This is a part of the meeting that the public is invited to speak to any of the agenda items or other school topics at this time. Comments should be limited to 3 minutes. Direct questions will not be answered by Board of Education members at this time. However, answers will be given at a later date as appropriate. Anyone like to speak tonight?
I would say. Ron Pfaff Electric. I think most of you know me. I'm going to say I can speak better when I'm sitting. I got the view on TV, a special meeting to pass your new stadium seating, and one of your board members made some pretty rude comments about my company, that we shouldn't be participating, working on these projects because I did not support the levy back in 2012. I actually had my company employees watch that video. It was a personal insult on my employees, as long as a personal insult on my family. I think most of you people on the board know me and how long I've been here, what we've done for this community, right down to, do you have a brother, you can answer this question, do you have a brother named Jeff by any chance?
Yes.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. Back in I think he graduated back in like 1980. I moved to the district in 1978, built a house on Wolf Road here, struggling. A guy by the name of Ken Woodruff came up and says, hey, you want to sponsor kids for spaghetti dinner on Thursdays? Sponsor your brother. I have a list of what I've done for this district that is way beyond what I think most people know. The Today Together Tomorrow Committee, you know anything about that?
Yeah.
We built the whole weight room, we built the track. I'm not patting myself on the back, I'm just telling you what we did. Youth League, Barb knows what we've done at the Youth League, building stadium seating. It just goes on and on and on. So I was told, I also own some garbage rental property across from Carter Lumber. It's like section 125. And in order to be a diligent business person, you have to know if the levy passes what your taxes are going to be. It's no different than when the Gazette says if you're the owner of a $100,000 home, your taxes are going to increase by this much. I did indeed write a letter to my tenants. The letter was dated December 3rd. The levy passed in August. I waited until the auditors figured out how much my rent or how much my taxes were going to increase. I sent a letter to my tenants stating their rental would increase by 25 cents a square foot. Fair enough, spread the cost. Did I say negative things? I think Mr. Williams and I had a meeting about some negative things, but we walked out as friends. We buried the hatchet. You clarified me. I said I maybe misspoke to the wrong person, is what I did. Got back to the board in a negative way. But I really don't think you can find a better supporter of Buckeye schools than Ron Pfaff Electric. I'm gonna tell you that right now. And as far as the connection, I think some of the board members think there's a connection between Jim Ty and myself. This isn't Jimmy Damore where I'm building swimming pools in Jim Ty's backyard. We don't go out to dinner. We do not even see each other. I've been up here numerous times. The elementary school lost power during one of your board meetings. I live right down the road. I found out that I'm an electrical contractor. The GFIs were not set right. Jim says, what are we going to do? I says, call the engineer of record. Have him do stuff. The pole ran into here a while back. What are you going to do? I says, you called the data electric. We're not equipped to do that. It's not like I'm the go-to guy every time when I call Jim Ty. There's no connection between that. And as far as, this is an $11,800 job. Y'all think we take our money to the bank in a dump truck? If I make 10%, that's going to be $1,100. Unbeknownst to me, my son talked to Jim Ty. You know what we're going to do for you folks? Your nice brick sign up there that says Buckeye Schools. We're putting lights on that free of charge. So there goes all my $1,100 profit, right down the tubes. So if that's the way you want to treat people that are giving your community money, that's all good. And I also bought you a present, because I noticed the last board meeting, that when you, Ron, here you go. And here's a 2016 version of the Buckeye football team. Thank you. I don't know what y'all can do, how much more you want from a person, but
Thank you, Ron. Anyone else like to speak tonight? No?
I would. Okay, thank you for coming.
Would you like to wait until the end of the meeting or?
No.
Board comment?
No, that's okay. I just want to address that. Mr. Black, you had sent me an email, okay, back on May 10th, and I responded to it. Okay, the question I asked at the meeting was, is this the same electric company that did these things? And what you had done, which I believe is clarified, because Brian had a meeting about you, is you had sent a letter to your tenants saying, you know, if you vote yes for the Buckeye.
No. Time out. The letter I have right here. Here's the letter. It was after the fact.
Okay,
The letter was after the fact.
Okay, this is not gonna be about back and forth.
No,
There you go. Done.
It's going to be a back and forth.
There's the letter. It was after the fact, and if I can't raise my taxes due to a school increase, I'm sorry.
Okay.
And I know about the letter where it came from too, my friend. I know the connection behind that, and you know it also. I'm not gonna go with it right now.
Okay, all I was doing was bringing up a letter that you had sent to your tenants, telling them if they voted yes for the levy, that their rent would be going up. Okay, Brian had a meeting with you on that. According to Brian, it was brought to his attention that you had been bashing our school district and community. He had a meeting with you. Your conversation started off heatedly, but eventually you better understood each other. He indicated that he needs to be more discreet about sharing his displeasure with a few aspects of our school district. Overall, he says he's very supportive of the school district, always votes yes for our levies, and actually has a levy sign up in his yard. I asked Brian at that meeting if you were in fact, the person that had done that. I was clarifying something. I think you were the person that did that. You did send a letter to them because of the Buckeye levy, your rent will be going up.
That's after levy passed, my friend.
Yeah, and you had sent a letter to him before letting them know it would go up as well. I am talking. I am not doing it back and forth, I'm just stating the facts. And that's what I did. I had sent you an email, asked if you wanted to talk, you never responded to it. And you came here tonight, so that's where I'm at. I was clarifying something at a board meeting. You sent an email, upset about it, I asked if you wanted to meet, never heard anything. So I really don't need this, because I have plenty of Buckeye stuff.
Okay.
Mr. Barco.
Not 2016 version, that's brand new.
Okay.
Even has my name on the back.
The public participation meeting is not a forum.
Right.
It's the opportunity for members of our public to address the board. It's highly inappropriate that every time a member of the community addresses the board, that we argue back with them. We have a time and place for board comments at the end of the meeting. This intimidates people from making public comments. And this is not what we're supposed to be, open and free society that you can say what you want to say without fear of intimidation or being spoken down to or shouted down in public. It intimidates our people, and we need to stop this. It's happened at the last 3 board meetings, and a board member has spoke back to members of the community who had peace of mind to say, it's got to stop.
I agree. Superintendent's recommendation items.
Thank you very much. Our first recommendation item this evening, we contract with American Fidelity to assure that we are in line with the Affordable Care Act, and with your approval tonight, we can continue that relationship with American Fidelity to assure that we are complying with the Affordable Care Act. My second item is a contract with ABC Therapy. They do occupational and physical therapy services for our school district, and with your approval tonight, we can continue working with ABC Therapy. My next item is a contract with Medina Creative Accessibility. We are very fortunate that they provide training for some of our special needs students as required by their IEPs, and with your approval, we can continue that relationship. My next item is a contract with Total Education Solutions. We have a student who requires tutoring, and with your approval, we can continue that with Total Education Solutions to provide tutoring for that student. E is a contract with PEP, which is Positive Education Program. From time to time, we have students who require services from PEP as a result of their individual education plan, and we'd like to continue that relationship with them. F is a contract with Summit County Educational Service Center for 10 days of audiological services at $475 per day, not to exceed $4,750. My next item, G, would be a payment of $350 to Summer Reinforcement Program. We have a student who requires, based on their IEP, summer reinforcement, and this company provides that for that student. We have a request for a field trip from our boys basketball team. They'd like to go to Sheridsville, Ohio for a team camp. That would be June 19th to June 21st. The cost would be $210 for our students, and there's no cost to our district for that. My next item, J, Mr. Paul Shercliffe, who we have previously approved to take over and run our Project Lead the Way program through the Medina County Career Center. He will be attending training to train him in that program. The training is $1,555 at the University of South Carolina. We will not incur any expenses for this program and this training. Everything for this will be billed back to the Medina County Career Center as part of our agreement for bringing this program to our district. The 16-17 lunch fees, I'm very happy to report, those will remain the same. We, as Ms. Wagleski mentioned earlier, we anticipate a very favorable deficit balance, hopefully very small or none, for this year. So we will maintain our lunch prices for the 16-17 school year at the same level. School fees, we have the junior high and the elementary school fees for you this evening, as listed on the agenda. K is approval of asphalt bids. We opened bids on Friday for asphalt work in our district. Parent Asphalt was the low bid at $198,000. This will entail paving work in our bus garage area as well as the back parking lot at Buckeye High School. Those are my recommendation items.
Okay, entertain a motion to accept the superintendent's recommendation items.
Motion.
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? If you haven't noticed, schools use a lot of acronyms, but they're all in there. And so roll call, please.
Mattson?
Yes.
Sisevich?
Yes.
Kunkelman?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Parko?
Yes. And new business.
Yes, the new business under 14A. Resolve Buckeye Board of Education approve the attached resolution of necessity for the renewal of the emergency tax levy. The copy of the resolution is attached to board members as Appendix C. We did have the first reading of this. This would be for renewal of our emergency levy that was passed in 2012. Hard to believe time has gone by that quickly, but we are looking at putting that back on with the Medina County Elections Board. So with your approval this evening, we can move forward with that.
Is there a motion to place a resolution of necessity?
I so move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion. This is a motion just to put on the renewal of the existing emergency levy.
Which will be less millage,
The lower millage because of valuations.
correct, and it will allow us to keep the homestead rollback for by the state, and it will be for 10 years. So the renewal will cost less.
Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Kunkelman?
Yes.
Stahl?
Yes.
Sisevich?
Yes.
Mattson?
Yes.
Parko?
Yes. Personnel items.
Thank you. My first item this evening, we have our administrators recently went to incentive-based contracts in which there are small bonuses for our administrators for reaching certain goals within their contracts. One of those goals for several of our administrators included reflecting the State of Ohio report card. So a favorable State of Ohio report card would trigger an incentive for some of our administrators. The State of Ohio, because of the change in tests over the last several years, has chosen not to provide a letter grade for districts or buildings. So in order to be able to evaluate the appropriateness of incentives for some of our administrators, we needed to look at a formula to determine a letter grade for our district. Ms. Gunkelman and Mr. Stahl got together to take a look at that. We did come up basically with somewhat of a GPA type calculation in which we assigned a numerical value to each grade on our report card, A, B, C, D, F, an A equaling 4, B3, C2, etc. We then added those together, divided by the number of grades in order to come up with a numerical value, and assigned a 3.5 to a 4.0, just as you would for a GPA, to indicate whether we would have achieved the equivalent of an A on the state report card. So in order for that to be effective, we needed to bring that this evening to have that approved. So that would be for item number 1. Also, my contract would indicate that also in it, so that would be item number 2. Item number 3, one of our high school counselors, Mr. Costa Caloritas, is asked you to accept his resignation this evening. He is taking a job in the Columbus area. We also have, as a result of that, Ms. Jen Wish, who is our intermediate school counselor, is asked to be considered for a transfer to the high school into Mr. Caloritas' position. So number 4, with your approval, would allow us to observe or to allow her transfer to the high school. We also have a resignation of Miss Emily Delahante. She is a French teacher at Buckeye High School. With your approval, we can accept her resignation. Then as a result of that, number 6, Alexandra Unaska. Is Alexandra here today? I'm going to embarrass some people if they're here, so. No Alexandra today? Okay. Our recommendation after several rounds of interviews for the French teacher would be Miss Alexandra Unaska. Effective August 15th, she'll be paid at Bachelor Step 0. My next recommendation would be for Marissa Pass. I think Marissa's here. Would you please stand up so we can all take a good look? We had over 250 applications for our first grade position, and we have conducted, I think, over 30 interviews trying to find the right person for that. So you can rest assured that Marissa is an outstanding candidate here today. She will be first grade teacher at Buckeye Primary for the 16-17 school year with a Bachelor's Step 0 contract. So please help me welcome her to our Okay, good. And we do have those contracts this evening for those new employees here, so you're
So after we vote.
Yes, it's here. It's official. I'd like to recognize next Mr. Matt Bendel. Is Matt here? Matt was able to make it this evening. Matt is my recommendation for integrated science teacher, again, after several rounds of interviews involving our high school personnel as well as interviews at the central office. Mr. Bendel will be an integrated science teacher at Master's Step 1. My next item, I know Tonya is here. Ms. Campo Benedetto, would you please stand? She will be our counselor. My recommendation to be the counselor at Buckeye Junior High, effective August 15th, Master's Step 6. And again, just an amazing pool of candidates that we had for that position, and she definitely rose above all those candidates to be our choice. So please welcome her to here. My next item, number 10, Dana Plank. There she is. Welcome, Dana. Thank you for being here this evening. Dana will assume a long-term substitute position in language arts at Buckeye High School. Again, August 15th, and paid her Master's Step 0. And again, just such an impressive candidate. We're very fortunate to have her here and have the opportunity for her to work with our students for the next school year. So thank you for being here. My next item, I know Ed is here. I saw Ed. Ed, if you would please stand. Ed had the opportunity, we were fortunate enough to have Ed here on a long-term assignment this past year and did a wonderful job in our social studies department. And when an opening came up, although we went through a very rigorous interview process, Ed, with his experience and with what we knew about Ed, as well as doing a great job through the interview process, rose above all the candidates that we have to be our recommendation today for a high school social studies position, and will be paid at Master's Step 0. So Ed, congratulations and thank you for being here. Alexandria Eubank. Yeah, there she is back there. Thank you, welcome. She will be a long-term math substitute at Buckeye High School. And again, very fortunate to have her with the experience that she's bringing at Bachelor's Step 0 with us, and look forward to her spending the year with us in our math department. Congratulations. My next item is, again, from time to time, we have requests for transfers. We did have a position open up in our language arts department at the junior high. Miss Mary Crabtree, many of you may know, as a fixture at ours in 6th grade. She did come to our district as a junior high teacher, and then through some of our financial issues was transferred to the intermediate school. With this opening, she requested and has been granted, for your approval, a transfer to the language arts position at Buckeye Junior High. Traditionally, we have given a couple extra days, 2 days specifically, for our SLP and preschool teachers for testing of preschool students as they come in over the summer. So I would ask for you to allow us to use those 2 days for speech and language and our preschool teachers. Miss Amanda Hogue, under number 15, runs our summer school program. That is an online program, and she does all the enrolling of the kids, the oversight of the program. And with your approval, we can pay her to do that, $25 an hour, and not to exceed 20 hours or $500. 16 are the extended school days. Many of these are counselors. They do work beyond their contract or beyond our student year or teacher year, in which they're scheduling and doing many of the various tasks that must be done before our staff and our students return. So with your approval, we can allow them to have those additional days. College Credit Plus number 17. Mr. Tudor mentioned our College Credit Plus program and how much that's taken off this year. Very appreciative of those teachers that are willing to assume that. I think I see Mr. Call in the back, who's one of them, one of our math teachers who has agreed to do that. Not only have they agreed to do it, but they also come with the credentials to do that. They require a master's degree in their content area in order to be eligible through the university to do that. The 4 folks on your agenda hold that credential. There is work that they have to do outside of their day in preparation and working with the university in order to be prepared and ready to teach those classes, and we would like to compensate them for that time that they are preparing and getting ready for those classes. Under classified personnel, we do have an addendum. As I mentioned earlier, there were some things that have changed in order to make some clarifications to contracts appropriate. Ms. Wobleski's contract would be one of those. I would like to ask under 1A that an updated forecast be presented to the board twice per year, unless substantial changes in forecast throughout the year. B is the comprehensive annual financial report prepared and submitted to the state auditors within 3 months of this auditor's start date. And C, this one is very similar to what I mentioned before. The district received an overall grade of 3.5 to 4.0 from the Ohio Department of Education, and half that amount will be earned if we have a 3.0 to 3.49. And the board believes that the position of treasurer has direct impact on the education of our students, and I think we believe that across the district, that everybody contributes to the experience that our students have both academically and socially. Number 3 is that a continuing contract. Ms. Megan Maloney Craig has her probationary period has expired, so she is eligible for a continuing contract. I would ask for you to grant that to her. Under number 4, Mr. Robert Wilcom would be my recommendation for a 4-hour custodian at Buckeye High School, which would be effective June 15th. He'll be paid at step 0 with a 1-year. Yes.
Mr. Rhodes, I believe you missed one of the voluntary change of assignment.
Forgive me. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. That one, I go back, is Rhonda King as Media Center paraprofessional. She did request to be considered for that position. We did an interview, and she was the successful person for that position, so thank you very much. I did Mr. Wilcom for the 4-hour position. The next one is Ms. Robin Watson, who has requested and gone through all of the proper certification to be a paraprofessional substitute for our district. Number 6, Ms. Renrosky has bid on and would be my recommendation to take one of the summer van routes, or the summer van route that we have for special needs students that need transported in the summer. Ms. Mary Ellen Zaremba, we have received her SERS disability approval from SERS, and with your approval we can proceed with that. Number 8 is voluntary change of assignment. We have a number of paraprofessionals there that have requested and have been interviewed for special education paraprofessional positions in our district. These are assistants within special needs classrooms, assisting the teachers with our students. One nice note about this, we had a number of these individuals that were in these positions a number of years ago, and as a result, again, of our financial situation, many of them were moved to other positions within our district. So it's actually nice to see that some of them getting back to the position they were originally hired for, and really getting us back to where we were before some of our financial issues. Under supplemental contract approvals, I would ask that you approve this list of supplemental contracts down to Mr. Pinzoni. So this would be from, from Mr. Baldwin Call down to Mr. Flood. And I would ask for your approval of those supplemental positions with the addition of Vicki Ludwig for Safety Town.
There you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there a motion to accept the personnel items?
Motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Are there any of the classified personnel that have been, are they out here? Any of the
New classified employees?
classified? Or, okay. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Savage,
Yes.
Mattson,
Yes.
Kunkelman,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Parker.
Yes.
So then I would ask you to approve the remainder of the list from Mr. Pinzoni through Mr. Schindler. And I think I give to you just one quick, I think I do. Miss Casada?
Yes.
I think I do see you here. Can you stand up? We'd like to welcome you. She's be our new junior high cross country coach. So.
Good. Anybody else? I entertain a motion to accept the remainder of the supplemental contract.
I so move.
Is there a second? Discussion? Roll call, please.
Kunkelman,
Yes.
Stahl,
Yes.
Savage,
Yes.
Mattson,
Abstain.
Parker.
Yes. Board comments?
First off, congratulations to the teachers. Buckeye is an amazing place to work. We have amazing teachers here and administrators. We find no finer teachers than anywhere else in United County. This is a great place. Welcome. Hope that you make it your whole career here at Buckeye. It's a good place to be. Lastly, Mr. Pfaff, my first T-ball team that I coached here in Buckeye in 1996, I had your T-shirt. You represented our team. Thank you very much.
Does it still fit?
No. I watch cars with it now.
Oh, boy.
And then lastly, our superintendent is always quick to recognize everyone else. He always is the first one to say thank you. He's always the first one to say he appreciates what they do. He's always the first one to recognize the good work that our district does. So I wanted to put a couple notes together, some of the things that he's accomplished in a very short time here at Buckeye. In Mr. Williams' time here, so lest we forget some of the things that he's done for us that were not done before. We successfully negotiated 2 responsible contracts for both of our union. They were responsible contracts for our union. He implemented incentive-based contracts for administrators. He started the Student of the Month program at board meetings in order to recognize our students. Our students must all get signs put in their front yards, and you see them all through Buckeye. He implemented the Best of Buckeye television program in order to highlight students and staff. We received a grant from the Medina Hospital Foundation to implement exercise programs for students K-12. We received this due to his involvement on the hospital board. He had implemented staff cookout on the last day of school for morale. Implemented lunch with the superintendent in conjunction with cafeteria to recognize students for their achievements. Started Buckeye Day to highlight the arts and community involvement in our school district. Passed the levy in 2012. It was the first levy passed in 18 years. A lot of people worked hard on this. But when Mr. Williams came here, he was tasked with helping us pass our first levy. It was a tough job. That levy passed overwhelmingly in all 3 townships in Medina City. It's the first time in the history of Buckeye that we've won at every precinct that voted for Buckeye. It's an amazing thing to do. Straight A's on all of our state report cards in tested areas. Best report card in Medina County. Established Appletrack program, which has provided thousands of outstanding applicants for our vacant positions. The Momentum Award given by the Ohio State Board of Education, which he just presented to us. Established Facebook page, Twitter, school message, and direct emails in order to improve communication with our families. While I'm not a Facebook person, I'm amazed by how much information he puts out there about the great things that our kids do on a daily basis. He renewed the 5-year strategic plan for this district. Created a 5-year technology plan for the district. The technology plan is in place and being followed, as Dr. Collins explained. He solicited and received grants to bring Round Blue, a much-needed mental health counselor, to our district for 3 years at no cost to our district. He established the OLIS program, the anti-bullying program for K-12 to address culture and environmental situations in our buildings. voluntarily establish Ohio improvement process in our district in order to make shared decisions with our teaching staff and improve academics. He established Feeding Medina County program participation here at Buckeye to provide food to students and families in need. So people who don't know this, there's a group of volunteers throughout the summertime that come to Buckeye, and there's a van, school van loaded with groceries, and we deliver those groceries to our families in need all summer long. We did do that for Mr. Williams. Improved our participation in college classes by over 400%. Increased the number of college classes taught by Buckeye at the high school by over 400%. Partnered with the Medina County Career Center, bringing the engineering program and the business program to our district at no cost to Buckeye. There's only 2 schools in the districts in Medina County that are doing this. Buckeye is one of them. No cost to us. Worked with our food service director to reduce the annual food service deficit from $60,000 to around $6,000. Thank you very much for that, Ed. Your mom makes a heck of a walking taco. Member of the Made in Medina County Committee to highlight the importance of manufacturing in Medina County, which has always been important for us to recognize we make and build things in Medina County. The capital improvement plan put in place and followed through with. We've just completed 600,000 HVAC replacements at the high school. We're building the new bleachers, which will be here for the new football season. Implemented the TransFinder program, which has greatly improved the accuracy of our bus routing, saving time and money. This past school year, system was probably the best school year for our bus routes getting off. There was no complaints. It was just a great season to get off. We've installed a bus wash system in order to extend life of our vehicles and save money. Proactively, we're washing our buses. There are very few districts in this county that wash their buses to get the salt off their buses. We won the PAC conference, all support trophy by the largest margin in conference history. All extracurricular activities are operating at full capacity or participation. For over 200, as an example, over 200 students in track and field alone between 2 schools, high school and the junior high. That is an amazing amount of kids participating in a program. We're very fortunate. We meet monthly with our state legislators to lobby for Buckeye public education. Our preschool program was awarded a 5-star evaluation by the state of Ohio. Because of our success here at Buckeye, our open enrollment, people who wanted to come to Buckeye and bring their kids here and have them educated at Buckeye has gone from 25 to 225 this year. These are people who don't live here who come to Buckeye because we're such a great place to be. It represents Buckeye through the following organizations. Mr. Williams is a very active participant in the Medina Rotary, the Valley City Chamber of Commerce, the Buckeye Area Ministerial Association, Buckeye Alumni Hall of Fame, Buckeye Education Foundation, and he's a board member of the Medina Hospital Advisory Committee and a board member of Feeding Medina County. We are very fortunate to have Mr. Williams here.
Do you have any comments tonight?
I would say that's quite a list, Mr. Manson. And I think that we would all say that it takes a village. You know, it takes everybody in Buckeye to be supportive of Buckeye and move forward with Buckeye. And so certainly I thank our parents and our teachers for all that they do also.
Mr. Stahl?
I would echo some of Bart's comments as well. Thank you to all the parents and the teachers that work to make this district great. To our new administrators at the high school that did a heck of a job in year 1 and made some very positive changes over there after some other years. You know, I will say I've been on the board 6 years, since 2010. And, you know, Gary Gordon was here when I first started, you know, and, you know, when I sat down and talked to Gary, some of the things we tried to do was being transparent. It's what a school should be, you know, honest, fair, high levels of integrity, and just being transparent. When I see something that is wrong, those of you that know me know that I don't hesitate to call it out. When we were doing the levy for the first time, when we passed it, you know, when something was in an ad was in the paper, paid for by a component of our levy that had 10-year-old data that talked about what we were doing 10 years ago as if we were doing it now, you know, that was challenged by me. When we had a flyer handed out at Bearswell's market that was filled with inaccuracies and half-truths, you know, I called them on it. When Mr. Glass Electric Company, or he, to his tenants, sent that letter. I sent it to Brian, okay? Brian had a meeting with him. That's what was clarified at that board meeting. We had issues with that. I asked if this was the same person, that's what happened. But sometimes it's amazing when you challenge the status quo. And, you know, we're a $16 million business, Buckeye. When you challenge the way things are offered and how they are, contracts are gotten, you upset a lot of people. And I don't apologize for, you know, trying to right the wrongs. That is what I will do and will continue to do. But again, new teachers, welcome to Buckeye. It is a great place. I've been here most of my entire life, and enjoy it immensely, and enjoy a lot of the board members that have helped throughout the years to work to make Buckeye a better place, and a lot of the volunteers that have worked to make Buckeye a better place. And it takes a team, and a lot of people go unnoticed because of what they do, and I want to thank them for everything they've done to make Buckeye a better place.
Kim?
First off, I want to thank you all for coming. I appreciate that you all came to hear what we had to say. I want to welcome the new teachers. I want to acknowledge how fantastic our staff is. The people that stood up, it's hard to stand up in front of people and talk, and you can see what great things are happening at Buckeye. The reason we are here, the 5 of us are here, is we're running a business. We're business people. We're here to provide services. We listen to what the community wants, and that's what the decisions that we make are based on the community. Our business is kids. We're 100% focused around the kids and the community and what you want us to say and do. We are here for accountability, and that's it. Bottom line, it's a business and it's accountability. I didn't write anything up saying about our superintendent. I think our superintendent's done wonderful things. I also didn't write reference letters for our superintendent. And I just appreciate everything that happened in Buckeye. I think it's a fantastic community, and we have a ton of community support. Thank you for coming.
To start with, I'd like to go back and talk a little bit about why the contract adjustments that were made, and I thank Barb and John for working on that, for our administrators. Back when we set this up, Mr. Mattson and I were involved in a lot of the negotiations and figuring out a way of setting up a performance-based contracts. And what we were hearing from the community is that wanted to see results and pay people for results. And so we put together these contracts that way. Problem is that we don't have a lot of control over the Ohio Department of Education in coming through with what we had set up in our contracts. And our contracts were based on those particular grade that the district would achieve a certain grade, and that would trigger a small bonus for our administrative staff. It's not a huge bonus, but it's a small bonus. Due to the fact that we have no control over the state and that they keep pushing that off year after year, that was the reason for the adjustments in that. Likewise, on our treasurer's contract, we had in there that certain things are done by a certain date, and it has to do with our CAFRA, which is the Comprehensive Annual Plan, Financial Plan. That, because the state cut staffing in their auditor's office, at least that's what the auditors tell us, is the reason why they weren't able to get the information done to meet that time frame. So that's the reason for these adjustments. It's not that we're making the adjustments here necessarily, but we had to make it to meet what the state requirements were, or what they came through with. The other thing, Mr. Pfaff, you have done so many things for this district, I know that. I know we have flagpoles and things like that, which have been donated by either you or your company. There's been a number of projects that I know that you've done more than what was in the contract for. You've done extras, and I'd like to thank you for those things.
Welcome. Appreciate
Thank you
it.
very much. Entertaining motion to adjourn? No, first, before we do that, I'm sorry. I'd like to set up future meeting dates.
For sure.
We're looking at maybe 2 meetings yet this month, one like about next week.
It is on 17th, that's Friday. On the June 20th.
Is that enough time to get the information?
June 20th?
Monday, June 20th,
That'll be
22nd. That would be a Wednesday. Does that work for everyone? All right.
Time, usual time?
Preference?
District, looking good.
Doesn't matter at all?
It's sick.
great meeting, right?
It should be.
Just probably one I don't want to.
Way out of the way.
I might have, I could have one or two employees
Yeah, I was
possibly
gonna
bring at
say-
that meeting, so it might be 10 minutes. So,
It's like 5:30. 5:30.
5:30? Okay. And then another meeting, is the 29th work for everyone?
That works fine, that's crazy.
Does that work for you guys? 5:30? Okay. Now, it seems like we have anything else. Entertain a motion to adjourn this time.
We'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
Is there a second? Roll call?
Nancy?
No.
Casella? Yes. Huckleman?
Yes?
Dahl?
Yes.
Arco?
Yes.
It is.
Thank you all for coming.
Rate for 5 seconds. And then the other day.
Thank you.